You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your actions. So let's just cut the bullshit this morning. You're not here to be average. You're here to dominate, but domination that starts in silence. The world's top performers, they don't begin the day by chasing. They begin their day by commanding. And that starts before the sun even has a damn clue to what's going on. So let me ask you this straight up. Who are you when no one is watching, when no one's around, when it's quiet, when you're by yourself? Who are you? Because if your day starts in chaos, guess what happens next? Everything follows suit. Everything goes crazy, and that's how your day is going to go. So, let's talk about the power of early mornings. Early mornings, they're not really about being a morning person. They're about owning that time of day that isn't stealing from you. Your mornings, that equals ownership. You know, before your clients, before your emails, before your kids, before agents, before distractions, you've got some silence. And that's a beautiful time. In that silence, that's where your power lives. Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, and to love. So, what do you do with your mornings? Are you sleeping? Are you awake? Do you react or do you create? If your first move is your inbox, or Instagram or scrolling, you know, the battlefield's bloody before you've even had your coffee. So, here's what most agents, you know, here's where they break. They confuse optional with required. You don't need motivation, you need minimums. You need minimum standards of daily activity. These are non negotiables, those things that happen no matter what. So let me give it to you straight up. Prospect 90 minutes a day. Follow up with every warm lead every damn day. You need to role play, practice your scripts. Maybe writing some handwritten thank you cards, and send some check-ins to your database. You know, and if that feels like a lot, it's because you've normalized inactivity. And I mean, come on, it's not really a lot. Epictetus said, how long are you going to wait before you demand the best from yourself? You're not tired. You're undisciplined. Discipline, that's, believe it or not, discipline is the doorway to freedom. Most agents, they don't have time management problems. They have self discipline problems. Because here's the truth: if the activity is not on your calendar, it simply doesn't exist. And if you don't defend your calendar, somebody's just going to hijack it from you. They're just going to take all your shit. You know, Time block your mornings for you. Time block your prospecting for lead growth. Time block your follow up so you can move that needle forward. Time block that admin work that everybody hates. Time block some learning, reflections. Everything should be time blocked, and you need to follow your calendar. Because what you control, you can scale. What you ignore, destroys your income. Time isn't your issue. Priority, that's your issue. So let me ask you this. Why should a seller choose you? You know, if you don't know why should they? Your unique value proposition, it isn't your years in the business. It's not your brand. It's not your process. You know, it's what you do, that no one else does, that removes the risk for the client, that guarantees results. Seneca wrote, if a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. So stop selling features and start selling outcomes. Define your UVP, your unique value proposition, package it and repeat it daily, practice it. If your prospects don't know what makes you different, then that's your fault. It's not their fault. You're the one who's supposed to make them understand. You don't become world class by reading books. You become world class by doing the work no one sees. You practice your scripts daily. You role play objections daily. You refine your mindset daily. Do these things daily. Let's be honest, most agents, they role play less than once a week and expect world-class results. You wouldn't trust a heart surgeon who just wings it, would you? Your conversations pay you. So why do you treat them like they're optional? Consistency, commitment, integrity, excellence. These aren't just feel-good words. They're the foundation of your income. They're the foundation of who you are and who you really want to be. Integrity is doing what you said you'd do long after the feeling has gone. Consistency is boring, and it's the doorway to wealth. Commitment means doing those reps when you don't want to, when you don't feel like it, when you don't have the energy, when you're tired. Those are just excuses. Excellence is not perfection. It's doing ordinary things uncommonly well. So you think top producers are special? They're just consistent longer than you are. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That's by Marcus Aurelius. Embrace the quiet and reflect and repeat every single day. Your mornings are for intention. Your evenings, they're for accountability. Every night, you need to answer these questions. Did I follow through on the commitments that I set for myself for today? Where did I hide? Where did I delay? Or where did I lie to myself today? What do I need to repeat or change for tomorrow? This is how professionals operate. This is how legends are made. And then quiet reflection just creates violent clarity. When you reflect on your day, things become more clear. Burn the boats. There is no plan B. You either build a business of integrity, execution, and excellence, or you're going to drown in mediocrity. You say you want freedom? Then earn it. You want fulfillment? Then live aligned. You want results? Then stop negotiating with your commitment. Say to yourself what you would be and then do what you have to be that. Repeat it daily, because success Success isn't found in just a flash of brilliance. It doesn't happen like that. You know, success is forged in the daily grind. It's forged in those quiet moments, in the consistent calls. It's forged in the integrity driven action, and it's forged in the nightly truth telling, and it's forged in your refusal to give up. So, are you ready? Are you? Then get up early, do the fucking work, repeat, rinse. Do it tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Peace.